Hi, in this video we are going to go over the practice question 2. This is a second practice question for your final, and this is to create the extrovert function. So previously we've done the introvert function where we were spreading out our numbers, giving them some space. Now we're on the extrovert problem, so we're going to bring all of our numbers together. So we're going to average kind of the nearest four numbers to get our output matrix. To visualize what we're doing, imagine that we start with a matrix that looks like this one, A. This would be our input matrix. And we're going to output a matrix B. I'm going to start with B being full of not-a numbers because I haven't filled in the not-a numbers yet. You'll note that B is one row shorter and one column smaller than A. That's because we're averaging numbers, so we're not going to have as many entries in B as we are in A. So let's go through kind of piece by piece how we're going to fill in this B array. So the first entry into B is going to be these four numbers that I have colored red here, averaged. So we're going to average those four numbers and put them in the first row, first column of B. To get the second entry in B, we're going to average these four numbers that I have highlighted here. And then we're going to keep going and kind of piecing through that A matrix. So the next entry of B will be these four numbers. The next entry of B will be these four highlighted numbers, and so on. So this number right here is these four numbers, or the average of those four numbers. And this number is the average of our last four numbers in our A array. So this is a specific example. If we're looking at this more generally, we can see that we are averaging. I've gone ahead and put our indices here. So if our first A here is Aij, this one here is going to be A. We're still in row I, but now we're in column J plus 1. Here we're now in row I plus 1, column J. Here we're row I plus 1, column J plus 1. And we're going to put the average of those four numbers right here in B, in column IJ of B. This is a really helpful visualization. I really recommend you writing something out like this to help you on your final. So if you come across a problem and you can't quite visualize it or you don't know how to code it, start by kind of trying to write out an example problem like this and then try to make it more general using the I's and J's like I've done here. So now I think we're ready to start coding. So I'm going to open up a new script here in MATLAB, and I'll start this script with my header line, which the header line from our assignment sheet was function B equals extrovert A. In that example, I said that B is going to be one row shorter and one column smaller than A. So let's start by finding out how many rows and columns are in A. So I'll do that by saying the size of A. When I was working through my visualization, I filled my B array with not-a numbers. So unfortunately, there's not a NaNs function. So there's a zeros function and there's a ones function. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the ones function and I'm just going to multiply it by not a number. So we can do not a number times ones, and we're going to have R minus 1 rows, C minus 1 columns. So ones is a function just like zeros that will create an array of ones. And if we do a scalar multiplication here, so not a number times all those ones, then that array will now be full of not a numbers. And those not a numbers are just placeholders. So I'm just pre-allocating my array so that it's the right size. So let's start. We'll need two for loops because we need to go through both our rows and columns. So let's say, and this time because B is smaller. Let's go through the rows and columns of B. So I'm going to say for I equals 1 to R minus 1. So this is cycle through the rows of B. And then I'll have for J equals 1 to C minus 1. So here we're going to cycle through the columns of B. And in this location here, I'm going to say Bij. So in the ith row, jth column of B, I'm going to put the average of those 4 values that I had highlighted. So we could use the mean function here, or because it's only 4 numbers, I can just add them up. So I can and divide by 4. So I'm going to say Aij plus Aij plus 1. So that's the one that's in the same row, the next column. Then we're going to go to the next row, I plus 1, the jth column, plus I plus 1, j plus 1. And we're going to divide all that by 4. Now, if we wanted to use the mean function instead of adding them up like this, I would have to create an array. So I have to put my square brackets here. So I'm going to put square brackets Aij, comma Aij plus 1, Ai plus 1, comma j, and Ai plus 1, j plus 1. Make sure that I close that correctly. So I could do either one of these. I do not need to do both of these. I just wanted to show you how we would do the same line of code using the mean function. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it as extrovert. And then let's go ahead and run an example here. So extrovert of, let's say 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this should be, what, 2 columns, 1 row. So 4.5 is the average of 1, 4, 6, and 7. And 6 is the average of 4, 5, 7, and 8. So that is how we solve our extrovert function, which is the second example problem for the practice final. I hope this was helpful, and I'll be posting other videos soon about how to solve the third and fourth example final questions.